Black mass, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Black mass, man, it's time to rob. I had to find a way, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God. Couldn't find a prayer, couldn't find a God.
I woke up, then I logged in to that UrbanX where they be flexing with that blog in. Put it down, cause my little homie called in. Had to bail him out, he in trouble with the law again. Black skin can't win in the white world. Seen a brother kill his own kid for that white girl. We ain't wanna go to school, but we had to. Every February it was scary in them classrooms.
Alright, so I'm here, UrbanX TV, here with my former trainer Derrick, aka Pie. So, I don't know if you know this. So I remember it was one summer going into my senior year of my varsity season of football, and we trained the whole summer. It was like 5 or 6 of us, right?
It might have been a little bit, yeah, probably about
five or six core guys, right?
5 or 6 core.
And I remember we used to do circuit training in the gym,
right?
And it was this one weight I couldn't get it up by myself the first time we did it.
Right.
And I remember being discouraged because everybody else could do it.
Right.
And I was like, damn. And then I just kept thinking, all right, after this, we have the rest of this week, and we have 7 more weeks of this. I was like, I should be able to get that by myself.
Right.
And then I remember by like the 3rd or 4th week, I was able to get it.
Right.
And that's when I knew. I was like, all right.
Right.
They're going to have a problem this season. Like, that's what I remember.
Right.
So it was on this field right here in Pelham Bay in the Bronx that we used to come on Thursdays, I believe it was, because we did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the weight room.
In the weight room.
We did field work on Thursdays and we did beach workouts on Fridays. Which was killer, like killer.
Right.
And then we were just talking, and one time I came late because I forgot what happened with some of the buses. I got on the wrong bus, and I got to the beach late, and I'm walking, I see them training on the beach, and I have my book bag on, sneakers on, everything still on, my sweats. So I thought I was just going, you know, get in the pack, sneak in. He was like, nah. Run all the way down to the edge of the beach in all my sneakers, and I had to run back, then get unchanged, then get in with the workout.
Then get in with the workout.
That was ill.
That's right.
That was ill. So I started working with you, I think, my sophomore year.
It was your sophomore year.
Which was late.
It was
late. And we only met you by chance, which was the craziest thing, because we were going up to see my old Pop Warner coach in Jersey.
Right? Yep. And that's how I met you guys.
And then you spoke with my pops about combines and things, and he came and he's like, yo, this dude knows what he's talking about. I think we should start working on him. So I'm like, all right, you know, bet. And then we came out to the first workout right there.
Yeah.
And I remember just looking at my breakfast on the side by the end of the practice. I don't even think we made it to the end because I was just throwing up everywhere. It was crazy.
Right.
And then I stuck with it, and which was, well, I credit you a lot of what I, you know, my will, you know, because you just let me know, like, if you come back, you're just gonna get better at this.
Right.
Which was like, I appreciate you, because I know I can do other stuff.
Right.
When it comes to just being consistent, because I know I went through that, and that wasn't easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, I remember my junior year on varsity, that was a real tough year for me because I didn't see a lot of playing time.
Right.
And I think that was you know, I take a lot of blame. I didn't take my workout seriously leading up to that, and then being like riding the bench that season, I saw action maybe a few games, and then but riding the bench that season helped me because that's some of
humbled you a little bit.
Humbled me. It definitely did.
Yep.
It definitely did, because I remember going into that year, I thought I had it.
Right.
I actually I had to start in position, and then the first game, I didn't really have a good, first scrimmage, didn't have a good game.
Right.
And then the coach was like, I don't think he's ready.
Right.
And then they put a senior ahead of me.
Right.
And then that's summer I came back from working out with you and those guys. I came back, they didn't recognize me.
Right.
They really didn't. I came back with tattoos, from flipping tires. Like, they didn't recognize me. It was like, and then the thing was, at my high school, they had a conditioning program.
Right.
That was mandatory.
Right.
And I didn't show up to any of them because I was working out with you.
Right.
So they already had it in their mind, like, oh, Bowser's not you know, he's not gonna see the field because he wasn't doing anything.
Right.
And then we came in, and we had to lift. I think we had to lift 155 10 times. Right. And then the lineman had to lift 185 10 times. Right. And I came in, and I remember I never told you this. Came in, and then I saw the 155. That's for the backs, 155 and 185. I was like, nah, I'm going 185. Coach thought I was playing. And I did what I had to do. They were like, oh, all right.
Right.
And then I wound up being All City that year.
Right.
Yeah, you came in a lot of my games too, which is ill because I remember one game I didn't even know you were there.
Right.
And then I remember it was a 4th and 1. I wound up making a stop, and I just heard you like, yeah, Malcom. I'm like,
yeah.
Like Derrick's here, so
Yeah.
So how was that? Like, how was, you work with your kids a lot too. Like, that's someone when you worked with us. It was 2 of your sons, and it was like three of us. How was that?
Oh man, I always go back to that. I always look at that footage, because just training you guys, it was fun, but at the same time, I was getting so much from it because I felt so connected to you guys too. Of course, I felt like all you guys were my sons, really. Right. Because I didn't, nobody got any, slack from me. I treated everybody pretty much the same in terms of what my expectations were. So, but it was, it's funny because I don't think I'll ever have a group like that. I'll probably have groups again, but like that, probably not. The closeness and the camaraderie that that we had, and the fact that I wanted to see so many good things happen for you guys. I think what was the burden that I was carrying, in particular was that I wanted to make you guys better.
Right.
And I always devised something different, or something that I knew was going to challenge you guys, and something that whereas I knew you guys was going to be like, come on.
Oh my God.
So and if I got that response, then I knew, okay, yeah.
We didn't want him like by himself thinking too long because we knew he was just gonna come up with something like.
That's right.
He bought one day, we were out here right in the spot. He bought out a big tire. Like we were waiting here for him.
Right.
And we see the car coming with a big tire strapped to the front. We was like, what? Where's he getting this stuff, right? And then we came out here. So I remember we had us flip the tire.
Right.
And I remember you were sitting there watching us. We were like, oh, he's thinking of something but I didn't understand what he was thinking about because I'm like, we're already flipping the tire.
Right.
And then he's like, all right, I want y'all to flip the tire, jump in the tire, jump out the tire, then flip it again.
Flip it again.
I was like, come on.
That's right.
Come on, son.
That's right. But the thing about it is that I also wanted to give you guys a taste of what the next level was.
Right.
And I thought that was important, that you guys, everybody was adamant about them going to the next level. So I wanted to give you guys a taste of that. This is what it's going to be, and probably, 10 times tougher. So just to be me being able to give you guys that taste of what the next level was, and me just having an idea of elite strength and conditioning, and I think, like I said, I don't think you couldn't probably count 10 kids that got that same type of training,
right?
Over a summer.
Yeah, I felt more prepared than anybody.
Right.
Going into training camp at my school, and then even when I was playing, these other kids from Connecticut and other places like that, and you can actually see, you can watch my film from one year and then watch the film, and it was you cut the gap down dramatically in the summer. So I always think about what if I met you in middle school?
Dude, I always think about you because I said if I had Malcolm 1 year earlier,
Yeah, man.
it would have everything would have changed.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
always think about that.
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
what if?
And it's, you know, but like I said, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, we meet a year earlier, everything is different for you.
I still play college ball.
Right.
And you know, I wound up hurting my shoulder.
Right.
In school, you know, which was maybe unavoidable, but I'm not sure. I heard it in practice doing one-on-ones, and I didn't even touch the guy. Like,
right.
I remember just going back and my shoulder just leaving me. So, but I still felt prepared even going into college camp, because I remember just being petrified of the story. It's like, damn, this is college.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what to expect now.
Right.
And then I remember the first few days of practice, I was like, all right, don't get me wrong.
Right.
It was ill.
Right.
But at the same time, I know, like, all right, I got this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, which is like, I appreciate, because I came back my senior year, like, super in shape, and I went to college even more in shape. And then I remember that actually when I came to you, I was like, yo, this is the book, you know, they sent me. You were just like, nah, throw it out. I got you. I was like, all right. I was like, you know, he's probably right. I probably don't need this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is that, and not to, you know, I wasn't knocking, you know, whatever the strength and condition, but I know my stuff.
Right.
I know what their expectations are.
Right.
And I know how to get what I need to get from you to meet those expectations.
Right.
So I don't, you know, I know that they have their structure, and I have my structure.
Yeah.
So you know, in my structure, I'm going to give you what you need, so that you'll be on point for them. So it wasn't necessarily a knock on them, but I definitely at that point, you know, definitely knew how to put together a program to where it is that, you know, your coaches or whatever would be satisfied with you.
And what impressed me, because I remember one time, I remember you talking about strengthening the muscles that we don't see.
Right.
More so than the ones we do see, because
That's right.
you know, you want to look good, you want to have, you know, the biceps, you want to have the chest, but then you were talking about, you know, the hamstring muscles, the groin, and then you used to stretch us out, so we could be super flexible, so we wouldn't have those. Because I remember I used to suffer from hip pointers, a lot, from having tight hips, and I played defensive back, and you need your hips.
You need your hips.
You need your hips, and then after that, I didn't have those problems because I was flexible and I knew what to do. I knew how to actually stretch those to make those flexible.
Yeah,
I don't feel like a lot of trainers they do that.
I think, you know, stretching. I was just telling a group of kids that stretching is almost just as important as the workout.
Right.
If you stretch properly, you'll not only will your sports life be longer, but there's so much growth that's going to happen because you're taking care of your muscles, and making, you know, and forcing your body to flexibility. And if you consistently do that over time, you're going to see so much. You're going to see your speed change. You're going to see your quickness change. You're going to see so much change. But it's about knowledge, right? It's about having the knowledge base and understanding that, you know, while you're sitting and watching TV, you know, during commercials, stretch. I tell kids now, stretch during every commercial. You know, because we're so engrossed in, you know, what's going on television, and you know, everybody claims that they don't have time to stretch, but if we can just spend that little bit of time, you know, especially, you know, these guys who are athletes, it's really important.
So I remember I think the first conversation you and my pops had was about, I think, the Nike Combine.
Right.
And we went to and that was my first.
Baltimore.
Yeah, in Baltimore,
Yeah.
right? So was that the Raven Stadium? But
That was
at the Raven Stadium.
Yeah.
And that was my first experience. I used to watch it on TV, but that was the first time I was actually ever a part of something like that. And all my time was slow. My starts were ugly. And, And then I remember the first time we worked out here, it was just on starts, on the 40-yard starts.
That's right, starts.
And I didn't understand how important the first step was.
That's right.
Let alone the actual duration of the
test.
Of the test, yeah. And then we used to, just over and over again. And you had this ladder to actually, the stride ladder.
Yeah, the stride ladder.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I remember that. And then I remember you helping me with my 5'10",
Right.
And then by the time I got to your combine, I think my 5'10" time was in like the 4.6s, like that. And by the time I got to your combine, which I won MVP, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I think my time was like 4.19, something crazy. And it was actually, I remember like just focusing in on, just hearing your voice in my head as I'm going through it, like, you know, bring my leg over. You know, it was the Spider-Man.
That's right. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, and it was another time at the Under Armour combine.
But that was with 3-cone, right?
With the 3-cone drill.
But it's so crazy because, just not to cut you off, how many times did I make you do that over and
like
over?
I lost count. I lost count. It was just and it became muscle memory at that point. Like I just knew where to cut, where to turn, and then some combines are different. Like if you knock over a cone, some won't, you know, take over points or, you know, add time. But at the Under Armour combine, they were real sticklers for which hand actually touched the line. If you knock over a cone. And then I was doing the 3-cone drill, and I remember doing this drill so fast, like getting through it. And then the coach showed me my time. He was like, "Yo, that was a combine record just now, but you just knocked over a cone, so we have to scratch that." So I went through it again. It was still a good time. I think I did 4.2. Right. But it was, I was like noticeably timid because I didn't want to knock over a cone. So it kind of cut my time down. That was crazy. That was
I remember, you know, when you guys told me about it. I mean, I wasn't surprised, because the thing about it is like I said, I had you go over it and over it and over it, and that's what it was about. It was about you doing it to the point that whereas it was all automatic. It was just you being able to do it without even thinking. Boom, 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 and just going. That's, you know, if we're talking about, you know, and of course that's what this was all about, getting you to the next level. And that's what it took. It took, you know what I mean? We probably did it 500 times. You know what I'm saying? But what came out of it is you having the discipline to understand it. You know, understanding the test. Not just taking it. Not just going through the motions and doing the 3-cone. You know what I mean? You know, that's nothing. But I wanted you to have an understanding of the test and how it is to understand how your body was supposed to move through it.
And also, I like the way you translated these tests into actual football movements as well, because a lot of people, they like to downgrade, like, oh, that's a 40, you're not going to use that. And
it's just linear.
You're not going to use. And then I remember you showing me how the 5-10-5 translates to you making that sideline tackle. You know what I mean? And I remember in a game, I had a game where the quarterback tried to go for the sideline, and I got to him so fast. And even my pops was on the sideline. He was like, "Yo," and you know what I'm saying. And then I remember my coach. They threw a flag because it was like I didn't touch him. You know what I'm saying? Didn't touch him. But I remember they threw a flag. And my coach got at me, but my father was just like, "Yo, you got there fast though." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you cut that half of the field so fast where I wasn't even mad. So you know.
Now that that was what it was really all about, man. Getting you guys to perform. This was all about developing elite performance over and over again. You know, the beach. You know what I mean? You know, getting you guys out there early. You know, and just, you know, having you consistently run in sand. You know, that right there within itself, that's going to take a half a step off of anybody's speed. You know what I mean? That's just going to change your speed. And to, you know, like I said, now, you know, now, I mean, thinking about it now, I probably, you know, should have did 2 days on the beach. Thinking, you know, just thinking now and just structuring something different. Yeah, I should have, you know, maybe half cut one of those days in the weight room in half and then went to the beach. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just thinking about how things are evolving now in terms of training, just you know, just being more efficient with time when I had you guys, and just coming up with more dynamic ways to, you know, to come up with training.
And I don't think with a lot of kids, especially in the city, I don't think they realize it, like the world is bigger than the Bronx. It's bigger than the 5 boroughs.
It is.
You know what I mean? I went to a Penn State camp, and it was kids like 11 years old running 4.4s. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yo, what?
Yeah.
And I was going into my junior year. I was like, yo, I'm not running a 4.4. And these kids are fast. They were coming from California, Florida, and you just had to compete. Right. And I don't think a lot of kids realize that. And I realized that more so during the recruiting process. Right. Because I knew I was good, and I knew I was only getting looks from D2, D1, a couple AA programs, D3, and I was like, all right, those dudes that are going D1A, I know that they're on a level that's incredible. So, and then you think about pros. So, a lot of those kids that are top notch are not going pro. It's like less than 1%. So then, I don't think a lot of kids realize the amount of hours they have to put in. The level of dedication, because that's summer working with you. I didn't really have a summer, a social summer.
Of course, but I tried to tell y'all that it wasn't about social.
Right. I didn't even I knew after practice, I drank my shakes. I went to sleep. I got home. I took a nap. I ate, took a nap, and then by the time I didn't want to go out, and then I knew I had to be up the next morning. Right.
I mean, so but that's you know. Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours, right?
Outliers.
You know, so that, I mean, that's what we were, we were producing. You know, we were chipping away at the 10,000 hours. You know,
so I wanted to say thank you.
Absolutely, brother.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So much, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I mean, it was. I mean, like I said, always, you know, seeing you and talking to you, of course, it always brings back memories. But, you know, you were always, you know, a pleasure to have, and just, you know, and seeing you now, you know, all grown up, and it is something that, you know, you look at and you know, you're proud. You know, you're proud that, you know, you could, you know, I can say, man, I had something to do with this young man's success right here, and it's definitely something that I'm appreciative of your dad, you know, bringing me on board and saying, hey man, you know, I think this dude can help us, because you know how many people say, nah, I'm good, you know, now we're gonna figure this out, you know, but you know, you guys didn't, and brought me in, and pretty much I've trained the whole family, right?
Yeah, you trained my little brother, Eli.
So, you know,
I can't say enough about the level of confidence he has now, because prior to, you know, he has cerebral palsy, he has a disability, but he always identified with athletes because he watches them so much, and he plays the video game so much, and he wants to do that, but he physically couldn't do a lot of the things.
Absolutely.
And me being a big brother, and I have older brothers too, you know what I'm saying? We rough house, and that's my little brother, so I'm gonna treat him like a little brother, you know what I'm saying? But once he started training with me, he felt like he could take me. He was just like, yo. He was like, yo, I think you slacking on your workouts. I'm working out. I think I got you now. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you instilling that in him, because he still has that today. He still feels like, I'm getting out of shape now. And he can see it in himself. Like, you know, I'm getting out of shape. I need to start working out again. And I don't have to tell him. My mother doesn't have to tell him. Pops don't have to tell him. So that's dope.
Yeah, man. I appreciate
that a lot.
Appreciate you, brother.
This is UrbanX TV. You know, got GP in the house.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? You know where to reach him. I'll put the description, you know, like below. So, peace.
All right, y'all.